Hello everyone, Artemu the Violet Wizard here, and today we're continuing the Pokémon SoulSilver Nuzlocke. Last time we finally managed to get our 8th badge from Claire, managed to explore every place in the Johto region that allows us to, that we're able to access with our new Waterfall HM, and then we went to take care of some things over by the World Islands with the Kimono Girls, where some things went down. So yeah, in between the last session and now, I was prepping the team for what we would be doing in this session. So yeah, in the last session we lost one of our most recent additions, which was Rorim the Bronzong. But thankfully, I had an extra Bronzong that was given to me as a gift. So we're still able to use this Pokemon in this run, baby! Except no substitutions. Yeah. Still sucks about what happened, but hey, at least we got a spare Pokemon that will actually be pretty good for us going forward. Yeah, Kenya's pretty much gonna play similar to what I was expecting out of Rorim. It's just that the nature on this Pokemon is different. So, yeah, we're just gonna have to... Yeah, we're just gonna have to play with that now. And one last thing I want to do before we start this session, as we are going to be heading off to the Pokémon League in this session, I wanted to bring Squeaks with us one final time in the main story of this game, as the next area we're going to be exploring does require the use of Strength and Rock Smash. So she's going to be fairly useful to us, and felt like it would be nice to give Scarab a little break for a bit, even though Scarab is not the one who is being shown on the Pokelink. Can we try fixing this here a second? That's not helpful. Oh, looks like it's all sorted out now. Good. Alright, guess there's nothing left for us to do but to head out. It's going to be returning to Route 27. The route to the east of New Barktown, where our journey first began, as there are now things we are able to do in this area. Now that we have beaten Claire, gotten our last gym badge, and have access to Waterfall, we can finally get to see the rest of Tojo Falls. We'll just completely get interrupted by this Pokemon here. Oh, Gibble would have been so sweet to catch during this run. Never had an opportunity to, sadly. It's a darn good one, just one of the strongest Pokemon you can get in the game. At least the ones that aren't legendary. So yeah, I feel like while we are seeing a bit of this area that we couldn't fully explore before, was some stuff that I want to talk about. Well, for anyone curious about the stuff that went down in the last session, I am still not going to be using the Kyogre we caught at the World Islands, because I feel like it wouldn't really be appropriate given the circumstances behind its capture. Just the fact that we didn't really catch it by normal means and we had to resort to the Master Ball. Otherwise, every other Pokemon or team would have been wiped out, and I really didn't want that. So because we had to use the cheat method of catching it, I just don't feel right of using it. So, for the time being, it's going to be in the low priority box alongside a bunch of our other Pokemon that we have encountered throughout this run. I feel like it's only fair to make sure that things in this run are, you know, going the way I want it to. I mean, a lot of different content creators usually have their different rules when it comes to legendaries and Nuzlocke runs. And I have definitely stated quite a few times in this run that if I do catch a legendary by legit means, which is specifically a catching it in a ball that's not the Master Ball, then I would allow myself to, because I did catch it the normal way, as opposed to just going for the instant catch Master Ball. Yeah, it's not really cheating per se, but it's just something that I feel just feels cheap, you know? But yeah, over here in Tojo Falls is an area that was not in the original Gold, Silver, and Crystal. There's a radio that no longer works. Apparently someone was using this cave as a base. Wonder what that's about. Yeah, it's that because the Master Ball would have been a less satisfying way to catch it besides other means. And also the fact that if I didn't use the Master Ball on that thing, it would have legit wiped out our entire team. Like, there's no doubt about that. Kyogre is just a fearsome Pokemon, and the fact that it got the boost from Ancient Power just completely changed everything about that encounter. Like, there was nothing I could do to get out of that situation without resorting to the Master Ball. But now that we're out of Tojo Falls, we're back onto this section of Route 27 that we couldn't get to before. Fun fact, this trainer we're fighting here, she would use every member of the Bulbasaur line if you're playing this, if you're playing the original Heart Gold Soul Silver. Kind of a cute detail. But yeah, to talk about some other stuff regarding how I've been building the team in this run and getting to this point. Ooh, Typhlosion. Definitely not a good matchup for Kenya. Yeah, Snorkel's about the best counter for this. Yeah, I felt like giving... considering what our team is composed of, putting a Scarab in the PC just to give us space for a bit, I felt was a good call because as some of the other Pokemon I felt that we could put in the box for the time being, which will probably either be Kenya or Sahara, I wanted these Pokemon specifically on our team going up to Victory Road because they have immunities on them that could be really useful at canceling out damage from certain types of Pokemon. And we wouldn't really get that with a bug fighting type on the team. So, yeah, Scarab's just going to be in the box while we make our way to the Pokemon League. And he's already put in a lot of good work for this adventure, so he definitely deserves a break. Yeah, I'll just finish you with Surf. There's really no reason for us to be fearful of a Volbeat at this point. I mean, this thing does get Tail Glow by level up, but it's not going to help it all that much. Yeah, we got a lot of areas to go through as we're making our way to the Pokemon League, so definitely hoping I'm able to think of enough things to talk about as we are making our way over here. No items over here we need to worry about. Definitely want to go in here, though. Where are you up to with Pokemon? Pokemon League? Are your Pokemon loyal enough for you to win? Let me see. Ah, your Pokemon trusts you very much. Nice to see a good trainer. Here, a gift for your journey. Well, it's good to know Kenya trusts us so much after what happened to their kin. TM37 happens to be Sandstorm. Smooth inflicts damage on both your and your foe's Pokemon. However, some Pokemon such as Rock and Ground and Steel-type Pokemon take no damage. There are other ways to avoid taking damage. I'll let you figure it out. Yeah, Sandstorm is quite an interesting weather condition. It is fairly interesting because not only are Rock, a Steel, and Ground-type Pokemon unaffected by the damage that this ability would do. Interesting bit of lore there, Brent. Not only that, but Rock Pokemon also get a special defense buff when there's a sandstorm present. And let me tell you, that's definitely saved my bacon in a few runs. Especially if you got if you have a Pokemon like Tyranitar or Gigalith that's able to instantly set up Sandstorm, that just really helps their survivability. Yeah, because there was this one run I did of a Pokemon Shield, I believe, where I had a Gigalith on my team with Sandstream, and it just would not die, especially after I put, whatever that one piece of armor was that you can equip to a Pokemon to make them more resistant to special defense. I think it's the Assault Vest. But yeah, that just really made it just such a great attacker to use. Jink's a little awkward here. Don't really have too many good Pokemon for this. You have Slow Star right now, so I don't have to worry too much about you, I guess. Why do you have Avalanche? That's just such a weird move for you to have. I mean, yeah, it's an Ice-type move, but it's also physical, so that's weird. But yeah, since we are steadily approaching the end of this Pokemon Nuzlocke run, at least the first half of it, there were some things I wanted to talk about regarding this challenge in this session. For one thing, if you're thinking of starting up a Nuzlocke run yourself, don't get too hung up if your first attempt isn't very successful. Like, we all have to grow and learn to be better players at some point, and it's usually after we make a lot of mistakes that we get better, you know? Hell, in like the first Nuzlocke run I did, I finished the game with 12 deaths. So, yeah, you can definitely see a little bit how much I have improved with time, with all that. But yeah, just don't be too discouraged if things don't really go your way at the start, because you'll get better with every attempt you make. And it also definitely depends on the game you choose to Nuzlocke that could really make things a bit easier or more challenging for you. Because especially with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you will need to grind your Pokemon quite a bit in order to match the levels of your opponents. And definitely some pretty tough battles in this game, even in the vanilla versions. But yeah, there really is no real secret to being able to do these challenges like perfectly, whatever. Like, even the best players do screw up at points, or sometimes RNG just isn't in their favor. But it's good just to keep at it. One thing that I have definitely gone good at when I'm doing these challenge runs is researching as much as I can about what I'm going to be facing during the challenge. Like the levels of my opponents, what Pokemon would be optimum for being able to go through a lot of the challenges. Or if you just don't want to do that and try to wing it with whatever Pokemon you catch, just go for it. I mean, I've clearly assembled quite a strong team here, but there are even a pretty strong Pokemon we have previously caught that I haven't used throughout this run. So it just gives you an idea of where my usual hit space is at during these runs. Just don't sweat it, and you just focus on what is important in the moment, you should be good. And of course, there are a lot of different variations of the Nuzlocke that may appeal to you a bit more, or add a lot more challenge. But I do want to mention over here, this is one of the few areas where you actually can use Whirlpool to access some stuff here. I am not going to do that in this session, but I may check it out when I have some free time. Just because I don't want to be bogged down with giving Snorkel yet another water move that he's not going to need for the final battles. It's not even really any move in his moveset I want to give up at this point. Again, just one of the struggles of playing one of the Generation 4 games. There's a lot of HM moves you gotta put on your Pokemon. And we haven't even seen the last of them, as I've alluded to numerous times throughout this game. Definitely want to make sure to battle as many people on this route as I can, because I know for a fact that there are several trainers in this area, and it would be very beneficial to challenge them when we can. Ah, Torchic! That would have been so good to catch. Actually, no, because that's a low priority Pokemon. But yeah, if you're playing through Vanilla, Gold, Silver, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, this route does have a couple new Pokemon that you could add to your team at this point. Obviously, they'll require some levels in order to become strong enough to take on the Pokemon League, but, you know, everything counts, and, I don't know, you could usually run into something good around here that can be helpful. As for me, however, we definitely aren't going to need anything else. There are a few last catches we can make before we reach the Pokemon League, but I'm not expecting to use them. Even at this point in this run, it doesn't seem very likely. We've already got like a ton of Pokemon in the PC that we are able to use should the need arise. So I'm really not going to sweat at this point. But we will try to make those last catches we need. There's also a Whirlpool over here. I think it's just a shortcut so that you can avoid walking in the grass up here, but why? Either way, you're still at risk of running into Pokemon. Wow, you're really a sharp one, ain't ya? Ooh, Rhyperior. That is a tough one. Shouldn't be too bad. Okay, you having Sandstream. Annoying. Feel like our best bet for you would be Sahara. Yeah, let's go for it. Hey, don't pull that scary face on me. Yeah, definitely see how Sandstream can really benefit a Pokemon here, because Rhyperior being able to set that up while also being immune to Sandstorm damage, that's definitely good setup for this guy on an already very powerful Pokemon. Yeah, it kind of makes me feel bad that Snorkel had to end up with that ability as in his last form, but what can you do? At least it's an ability that does benefit other Pokemon on the team. Not necessarily Snorkel, though. Yeah, I'm not too worried about a snow run. We'll just... Okay, you'll go for Protect while we're digging, sure. We're not even gonna hit you this turn, so whatevs. You fool! But yeah, with this Nuzlocke run, at least the first half anyway, getting close to its end, I have definitely been thinking a lot about what's going to be the next game we're going to play here on Twitch. I definitely have a good idea on what we're doing, and I'll definitely want to get that set up very soon. But it should definitely be a fun time. I definitely poured a lot of time and energy into this series, and I'm honestly pretty exhausted with it. Pokemon games, while they tend to be rather short compared to other RPGs, with this particular challenge, I've definitely invested a lot of time with preparing like all of our Pokemon to be ready for everything we're up against. And also, this tends to be the kind of game where I do a lot of artwork for these streams. So yeah, there's been a lot I've had to do in this series, and it's been pretty exhausting. Still very fulfilling, but, you know. Alright, Sparkles, let's get you cured up. I don't really think I've shown it off, but if your Pokemon has a status ailment and you talk to them on the field, it will call attention to it. Ah, Sparkles is feeling refreshed now that we've cured her. Good girl. Alright, there should be a few more stuff to see over here. These are some pretty long routes. You came from New Bark Town, you must be exhausted. Lady, you don't know the half of it. You. Of course, we had to counter one of my least favorite Pokemon before we... You have Motor Drive. Why? I mean, that gives you an immunity to one of your weaknesses, so sure, go off, Queen. Never really liked Delibird. Sure, its design is cute with the whole Santa motif on a penguin thing, but it just sucks to use in battle. Execute. We will certainly execute you. This has definitely been a Pokemon I want to use in one of my streams at some point. Maybe I'll get around to it eventually. I just don't really see a game where that's going to be a reasonable option. Maybe when we do another randomizer run at some point. So do like me, the Execute family. Oh, you're much too strong. Unlike you, who thought bringing a Delibird here was a good idea. Alright, we'll definitely register your number. You could be good to train against very soon. Oh yeah, I forgot. When we were in New Bark Town, I was planning to finally withdraw all our money from our mother. Yeah, I guess I'll do that after this stream then. Man, I've been so off my game right now just because I've been so exhausted. Not with work, thankfully, because I've actually had a very light schedule this week, and also gonna have a lot of free time next week, which is fairly nice. We should have plenty of time to get this run finished very soon. Definitely want to head over here to grab some stuff, and looks like there's something in the water too. Not going to be able to get it from this angle though. But I do want to remember that. Now moving over here, we got a new area. I'm feeling great today. Feel like I could even beat the league champion. So now we're on Route 26. Yeah, going from 27 to 26. We're actually going down the route numbers in order to get to the Pokemon League, which is fairly fitting. We are in the Kanto region right now. So it's kind of fun in just how we started off our journey going up from like 29 to 46. And now we are backtracking from there. Sorry about the silence right now, but I don't know, I've just been kind of all over the place mentally for a bit. I don't know whether it's just I'm exhausted of playing this game or some other stuff that's been going on, but it's been pretty tiring, especially with some things that have definitely been said over social media these days. Definitely know a lot of people are tired about some of the stuff that's been going on, and I am too. Can only hope that things are going to get better, but don't know when it's going to, and that's kind of the sad part. It's like fishing, it's all over in Pokemon if you give up. True as well. Alright, so now we're in a new area. We got ourselves a new Pokemon we could catch. Oh, look at it is. We don't have our full team with us, but sure, let's take another picture before we challenge the Pokemon League. I believe there's another opportunity to run into Cameron before the League, so good see what happens. Thank you, sir. Alright, so one of our last Pokemon we catch in this run's gonna be Ponyta. That is actually a very standard encounter for this area, believe it or not. Ponyta. Dottie's not a good choice here. Who else would we use? Kenya's also not good. I guess Sparkles will be good. I'm definitely happy that we encountered Ponyta at this point in the game, because this thing is rather infamous for, if you catch it in the early game, good luck using a first form Pokemon for most of the adventure. But since we caught one at level 30, this one doesn't have a whole lot of time before it evolves, so that's good. Yeah, this one could be pretty useful. It's one of the fastest fire types in the game and a really good attacker. I definitely use the Ponyta line a lot during my runs, and I could definitely recommend it. It's pretty strong. Though its survivability options during a Nuzlocke run, though, are not really the best because it's not very defensive. And if it's not able to get the KO on an opponent, then obviously you're going to be at risk of it getting knocked out. And with it needing to stay in its first form for so many levels, yeah, that makes it risky to train these guys, but they're good. Alright, so what are we going to call this little filly? Yeah, something came to mind that I feel like would be nice. We'll call you Hollyhock, after a certain character from BoJack Horseman. One of my favorite shows of all time. Seriously, if you've not seen it at this point, please watch it. It's just an incredible piece of media. Alright, we still got a few things to do in this area before we can get to the Pokemon League. Yeah, not too worried about you. Things could be nasty in some of the later generations when they get a lot more coverage moves, but I'm not too worried here. Seeking still just kind of a generic physical water-type Pokemon at this point in the series. Still gives good experience, though. Up, see the Poké Link is messing up again. You cut that out. There we go. Yeah, I do like the PokeLink application, but it's not without its faults, as you can clearly see. Wow, look at all those badges. I'm impressed. You're not satisfied with just collecting them, right? Yeah, I mean, in essence, the badges are merely proof that you are capable enough of being able to challenge the Pokemon League, and that is the end goal of most Pokemon games. Not so for this one, even though it is going to be the end of our little journey here through the game for the time being. So I do want to move on to some other stuff. Good battle. I just hit your monkey with one move. Sure, we'll go with that. People in Pokemon grow from their experiences. Don't get lazy and complacent. Buddy, you don't know the half of it after what I've been through. So we're not gonna head down that ledge until a bit later. So I want to show off this house. Do you think you were lucky to find a place to rest right where you needed it? Don't be reserved. I look forward to people's smiles. Let your Pokemon rest here. Thank you very much. I'll definitely appreciate the healing here. It's the last little rest stop before making your way to the Pokemon League. So definitely take it if you need it. Meanwhile, I want to head down this way, as there's some stuff further down that we need to get to. Hello, Sudowoodo. Definitely would love to also catch one of these guys, since it is one of my favorite Johto Pokemon. But yeah, last couple of days have been pretty nice. I've definitely had a lot of time to relax away from work, and I've definitely been doing some more drawing just for myself lately. Because obviously I've had to draw a lot for these streams here, but also wanted to do things purely for myself. And I've been having fun with some of the things I've been drawing lately. And I've also been checking out a few older videos that I've been meaning to get back to watching before. But enough about that for now. We got ourselves an interesting little house here. There's 7 beds here. And let's read this. To my brothers and sisters, we take pride in serving Pokemon trainers. When trainers talk to you, give them something useful. Love, Monica. Monday, Monica, Route 40. Tuesday, Tuscany, Route 29. Wednesday, Wesley, Lake of Rage. Thursday, Arthur, Route 36. Friday, Frida, Route 32. Saturday, Santos, Blackthorn City. Sunday, Sunny, Route 37. So this is the house that gives you a hint about where to find all of the day of the week people who will give you items to boost the power of certain Pokemon moves, which could definitely be pretty useful to you on your journey. Highly recommend picking them up, obviously. We're going to ignore that for now and head this way, because I know what we're going to find over by that ledge to the left. So what I want to show off down here, if we have the chance, so all these encounters. Ooh, Anoref. It's definitely a Pokemon I have been meaning to use at some point, especially during one of these runs, because I haven't had too many opportunities to use this Pokemon. I mean, look at it! It's a little Animalicaris. Who doesn't love an Animalicaris? It's also cool that it's one of the few Bug Rock Pokemon, which is a pretty elusive type, even to this day. This guy's being a little butt, so sure, we'll just go for neutral damage on you. Yeah, it is pretty cool with the house. And also nice in the remake of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, they have it so that the house has 7 beds. each corresponding to one of the different NPCs. So you have just another nice little addition in the remakes here. Don't believe there is anything else we're going to need to find in the water here. Man, I've just noticed that these two routes that we have so far managed to explore in the Kanto region, both of them have had fossil Pokemon in the waters. What are you trying to tell me? That Kanto has been secretly... Oh man, that actually does track with some of the things established in Red and Blue. Yeah, because there is a laboratory in the... It's a laboratory on Cinnabar Island that's specialized in reviving Pokemon from fossils. So maybe some of them managed to escape the laboratory and migrated over to this area. Who knows? And the elusive item over here is an awakening. Nothing we need here. Alright, at least we did manage to explore this area a bit. Nice to see if we could pick up another few elusive items that could be really good. But again, I'm not sure we're going to run into anything else that's going to be really cool. Yeah, I've got a little bit to go before we get to our next destination. So let's heal up and get ready to go. Guess while we're in this area, I could also say that this area is a bit interesting in the remakes compared to how things were back in the original Gold and Silver. And that's, you know, these areas, because they're part of the Kanto region, if you were playing the original Gold and Silver, because of the way the map worked in that game, you would not be able to fly back to any of the previous areas in Johto, as long as you are in these Kanto routes. You had to backtrack all the way back to Johto if there's some stuff there you want to do. Luckily, that is not the case here in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. At this point in the game, you are free to fly back to the Johto region at any time, which is definitely very helpful if you still have some unfinished business, and you have a Pokemon on your team that can learn Fly. I currently don't, but, you know, useful to you. Ooh, Magmar. It's definitely a Pokemon that's given me both a lot of good use on my team and also given me a lot of grief in some of my other playthroughs. Definitely a powerful Pokemon. And one that could serve you really well because it has a great TM move pool, able to learn a lot of great attacking moves outside of just fire. It is so good. And this generation even gives it an evolution, so you can make it even stronger. Believe it! And you don't appear to be anyone willing to give us a rematch. Yeah, I'll definitely say at this point, the best way to get your Pokemon levels up at this point is definitely by calling rematches from the various people that you register on the Pokegear. Definitely really helps with getting through, just getting your Pokemon strong enough for the challenges ahead. And I'll definitely be doing a lot of training for what we need to do, as our levels are currently not up to snuff when it comes to what we're going to face in the Pokemon League. So I'm definitely going to make sure we got our Pokemon trained up. At this point in the game, you are pretty good if you're at the levels I am for this area. But when it eventually comes to the Pokemon League, you are definitely going to need to do some training. Especially if you're doing a randomizer run like I am. And especially if you're doing a Nuzlocke run, you definitely want to try to match your opponent's levels as much as you can. Because even being a few levels below your opponent could really shake up just how much the battle's gonna go. Alright, down goes Tauros. And what else do we got? Man, that gave us a lot of experience. I guess it makes sense. Kenya is technically they were owned by another trainer. So, yeah, it makes sense that she would gain more HP. I mean, experience in battle. Oh, come on, my hypnosis fails, but yours goes off? That is bull. We'll get you cured after the battle. Let's just go to Dottie. You're more than prepared for handling an Exeggutor. Ow. I say that, but it does have Egg Bomb, which can hit us neutrally. Yep, I'm not too worried. Payback should be able to finish you. Or maybe not, because you are pretty bulky. Yep, you survived. Definitely gotta watch out for that. Okay, I don't want to take this. Where's our status items? Also, I just got remembered by accessing our inventory here. In between sessions, I went to the department store and then I bought a bunch of X items. Because I definitely knew we would probably need some for the fights ahead. After the whole Kyogre incident, I've decided that we definitely need to be prepared. Because, yeah, definitely a rough decision I made to not pick up anything like that. Hey, you can go ahead and forewarn me, Pelipper. I'm not even using Dottie against you. Sorry, just the chance of you having a flying attack at your current level is enough to make me go no. Sparkles, meanwhile, should be more than prepared for you. Yep, you go down. Ooh, critical hit too. That is a really big kill on you. Alright, very good. Yeah, life is tough. Deal with it. Yeah, sure, you had a lot of strong Pokemon. We'll register you. It'd be good grinding for later. How should I beat you? I'm tormented by those spots all the time. Oh, Kenya. Don't worry, we'll heal you up, girl. Or they. Sorry. What else do we got around here? There's something hidden back here. Stardust. Alright, that is good to sell for later. And what about you? I'm making my final preparations for the Pokemon League. Hey, same, buddy. Yeah, when it comes to this game, the level you want to be before challenging the Pokemon League, I'd highly recommend being at level 50. Just the optimal level to make sure you're prepared for what the champion is going to have. And you definitely want to be prepared during a Nuzlocke run, especially a randomizer where it's set on same strength. You're definitely going to run into some very powerful Pokemon, specifically in this version of the Pokemon League. This would have been a good opponent to have. Scarabin. Not that it's gonna matter, because we're currently locked into finding this thing now that we use block. Not too worried. Okay, you do have rough skin. That's a little rough. And it's using Swagger on us. That's not so good. Oh, there's another thing Bastiodon can learn that could be nasty, and that's if this thing has Metal Burst at this level. That's just the worst. Oh, never mind, we took it out. Good work, Sparkles. That gets some very easy experience. God, like, all the trainers in this area are going to be real good for grinding. So if you manage to get on a day where you can actually challenge one of these NPCs to a battle, go for it. Definitely get your Pokemon trained up very quickly. And your last one is Electabuzz. Sparkle's going to be pretty good here, especially with your new move. Get him with a crunch. Or not. Ugh, that was a lot of damage. We took out the Bastiodon, so we should be able to swap now. Yep. Yeah, I am not too worried about this Electabuzz. I mean, I did have a Nuzlocke run pretty recently when Electabuzz actually took out one of my teammates, so that was kind of bad. But not gonna happen here. So another Pokemon I really want to use in one of my streams at some point, especially because Emil got to show off the Electabuzz line in his recent White 2 playthrough. But yeah, at some point I do want to go for it. Such a cool Pokemon. I blew it! Eh, you're alright. Alright, we got quite a few injured Pokemon here, so let us heal up. Sparkles, you can take a full restore since we have that, and actually no one else needs healing. Good. Alright, now that Sparkles has your new move, let us reorganize the party a bit here. Alright, it's definitely working well with that huge attack you got. Definitely a reason I really like the Luxray line. They're good Pokemon. They just kind of struggle in that their moveset really isn't all that great. Especially with the lack of really good physical electric attacks. I lost to a red-headed trainer. He was really strong, but it was as if he absolutely had to win at any cost. I felt sorry for his Pokemon. Oof, who do we know who's like that? Apparently he's ahead of us now. Can only expect some more resistance from him. Ugh, Dodrio. Don't really want to risk the Fake Out right now. Yeah, Sparkle should be able to handle anything this thing can do. Okay, that's gonna hit a decent amount. That's a special move, so it's not gonna do too much damage, but do want to be careful because Dodrio are very fast, and this thing can inflict status ailments on us. And of course, it manages to land the worst possible one. Screw you, game. God, when your Pokemon get frozen, that's always just the worst. It's such a rare status ailment because only a couple moves are able to inflict freezing on a Pokemon. And also the fact that there is no move that is guaranteed freeze. This thing is just buying its time using frickin' acupressure. Finally break out of the ice. Yeah, it just always seems like the most annoying status to get afflicted by. And last one is Rhyhorn. Definitely don't want Sparkles out against this thing. We have Snorkel. God, I'm still happy that we actually managed to get a Kingdra in this run. Easily one of my favorite Pokemon, and it's just so damn good. I'm definitely expecting Snorkel to see a lot of action in the fights going forward, especially against the champion, because you can definitely expect him to use a couple Dragon Pokemon, even if it's not the typical team that he uses. Pokemon aren't tools of war. Yep, at least they aren't anymore. Actually pretty cool how both the games and the anime have established that many years ago, people did use Pokemon as soldiers back during a lot of different conflicts, which is pretty sad. I mean, these are very intelligent animals, and to see them being used for the purposes of warfare, it's just very sad. Got an Ultra Ball here, and looks like there's nothing else to find here. Alright, I'm gonna head back to the healing house here, and then we'll be ready to take on the next area. Did you know you were lucky to find a place to rest? Yep, I know all this. At least you're not like that one granny in the Hoenn region who, after letting us rest at our house, insists that we stay longer. I don't know, that NPC just kind of sad because she's clearly lonely and doesn't want us to leave right away. But we have to. Only trainers who prove themselves may pass. Oh, the 8 badges of Johto. Please, go right on through. This is the reception gate for the Pokémon League. So right ahead is going to be our next major hurdle in our adventure. If we talk to these guards here, this way leads to Kanto, but this path's blocked for the time being, I'm afraid. Can't go that way until much later. This way leads to Mount Silver. You'll see scary strong Pokemon out there. You're not ready for it. Bitch, what? Nah, he's actually right. We're nowhere prepared for that. But it is time for Victory Road. Our last challenge before finally taking on the Pokemon League. So we definitely have a lot to do in this area. This place has received a substantial upgrade from how things were back in the original Gold and Silver. This area is a completely different layout and... Ooh! Quilava! Oh, I'm so happy our encounter here is Quilava. Dottie, I do not want you out against this thing. Sparkles will be good for weakening you. God, I'm so glad we actually managed to get this as our last possible encounter before the Pokemon League. Just easily one of my favorite fire starters, if not one of my favorite fire Pokemon in general. I love the whole Cyndaquil line. Easily a top tier Pokemon for me. It's so good. So weakening you. Now we'll go for Crunch because I don't feel too keen about the extra damage that we would get from. Whew, that was close. Alright, catching you is going to be a bit of a pain as you're a starter Pokemon. But we can at least try our best here. Definitely have a lot of options with Pokeballs here. Yeah, this one is going to be quite interesting if we can actually manage to... Wow, got you on the first level ball. Nice. So I guess the Apricorn balls are pretty good. I don't actually know the actual, percentage of how effective they are compared to regular Pokeballs, but this one was very good. Got ourselves a Quilava. So I'm actually going to name you after one of my friends who really likes Quilava and actually has one as his persona. Call you Bryce. Oh, that is so good. We actually managed to get that. If this wasn't a randomized run of SoulSilver, I probably would have gone with Cyndaquil as my starter in this run. I mean, Totodile is also a really good starter to use here. In fact, it probably is the most optimum of the starters to use for Johto. But Cyndaquil line is real good too. Just kind of want to switch out because this thing is a bug type and Dottie no like bugs. Or you could just Whirlwind, sure. You pansy. Yeah, Sparkles is hurting a little bit. We might want to heal you up. Ooh, goodbye. God, we could have had this a potential Pokemon too. That's so good. Yeah, I could definitely expect to see quite a few fearsome Pokemon in this cave. Definitely more fearsome than some of the things even in vanilla. Whereas it's mostly stuff like the Geodude line, and Onix, and Rhyhorn, and also Zubat. But yeah, we have a lot we can see here in Victory Road. This is not the very small Victory Road that was in Gold and Silver. There's a lot to do here. And we'll definitely want to take care of everything we can in our first visit. This is also why I recommended having a Pokemon with Strength and Rock Smash. As it was clearly demonstrated, we can't even advance in this area unless we have Strength. So definitely making sure you are prepared for the fights ahead. We want to be on the lookout for items here. So while we're just dealing with a couple of the things in this area, what's some other stuff that we can talk about? Well, pretty recently, I have been totally fixated on some animation that has come out in the recent weeks. Namely, I have been really interested in the Amazing Digital Circus, which is a pilot for a new show on the Glitch Productions channel, for anyone who's familiar with, like, murder drones and all that. And yeah, it's just an amazing pilot. It is created by an animator I followed for quite some time called Gooseworks, and she's done a lot of great work before, and it's so cool to seeing her doing some professional stuff now. And yeah, it's just such a great pilot. Like, just the entire concept of it is really interesting, how it's like set in this a really strange virtual world where everything is all silly and goofy and doesn't make any sense, but it's also very harrowing because all the characters are trapped in there against their will. And there doesn't seem to be any way that they can actually escape from the game. And yeah, just gonna be really interesting to see when this show eventually gets actually started as a series. Just a very fun concept, and the character designs are all fantastic, and the voice work is really top-notch. And like I said, the animation's real good. Definitely recommend it if you haven't checked it out yet. Ooh, Gengar. That would have definitely been sweet to see. God, there's already seeing a lot of cool potential Pokemon we could have caught here. I'm plenty satisfied with the Quilava, but come on, we could have had Gengar? That's easily one of the most iconic Pokemon to ever exist. Hell, it's so iconic that Ash got to use one in the last seasons of the anime. Nothing on this side we need to get to, so we'll just head on over here. But yeah, back on topic with this Victory Road. I really don't know how I feel about the layout of this Victory Road being completely different from the version of the Victory Road we originally had in Red and Blue, and then later Gold and Silver. Because, I don't know, this is a very... I wouldn't really say it's an iconic part of the Pokemon series, but it was like the first Victory Road. And, I don't know, just kind of changing its layout when it used to be very consistent with how it looked back in Gold and Silver. I don't know. It's still a decent Victory Road, it just doesn't really stand out visually, you know? But what I'll definitely praise here is the music. Like, this is a great last area theme before taking on the Pokémon League. Just sounds so good. I got some more stones to push around here. That area was a red herring, so we want to head this way. Ooh, Wailmer. Oh, the big doofy guy. Definitely want to use Wailmer at some point. It's a Pokemon that's been on my radar for so long, and yet I barely really use it. But yeah, besides some of the other stuff I have been doing, I've also been in quite a Digimon kick lately. I mean, it helps that I have been playing some more Digimon Cyber Sleuth recently, and that game is awesome. But very recently, in order to promote this new Digimon movie that's been coming up, the Toei Animation official YouTube channel has actually been uploading episodes from one of the older Digimon shows in order to help promote that movie, which I feel is very nice. Like, the episodes they've been uploading were from the second season or second series of the original Digimon anime. The stuff was focused on like Davis and Beamon and all of them taking on various challenges. Kind of inheriting the position of Digidestined from the original heroes from the first saga. And pretty cool stuff. I only checked out a little bit of that portion of the show when I was a kid, but it's been pretty fun looking back on those classic Digimon days recently. Yeah, that is always unfortunate. Your water type, I really don't want Sahara out against you. And yeah, the episodes I have checked out from their channel, wouldn't say that they're really like required watching, but they are pretty nice, just kind of showing off like that era of kids anime, you know. And especially with how the English dub tends to do things, you know. Definitely a lot more of a lighthearted kind of thing compared to some of the original Japanese context for a lot of stuff, I believe. It's got another rock over there that unfortunately we can't push from this side. So just want to look around here. And yeah, I am fairly interested in the new Digimon movie that is coming out. It's pretty interesting in that it's going to focus on the Digidestined from the Digimon 02 series, only they are now much older, as a lot of time has passed, and a lot has changed in their lives, and they're coming together once again as the Digidestined in order to stop a new threat, which is definitely very cool to see. Just very nice to get another look at these characters after all this time and see how their lives have been. Which is certainly something that they tried to do with Pokemon in the most recent seasons, but didn't really stick the landing because, you know, the Pokemon characters aren't really allowed to age. But it's cool that Digimon doesn't fall into that trap and actually does have a lot of time passed between the different generations of the show. And getting to see characters like Ty and Davis at different points of their lives is really cool. Oh, of course you got pursuit on me. Dang, Grovile. Go back to the future, you dingus. Yeah, there is a lot to enjoy with Digimon. Like, as cheesy as the episodes I have seen on YouTube have been for the most part, there's still a lot of concepts that are pretty cool. Like, in the recent episodes they showed, they have an arc where the Digidestined of Japan are getting to explore various countries of the world, and they actually get to interact with other kids that have become Digidestined and have their own Digimon partners. And it's just very cool to see different Digidestined in areas like in America or Europe or in Australia and all that. It's very cool. It definitely helps them make their world feel very big, you know? Yeah, it's definitely one of the things that I feel when it comes to the comparison between Pokemon and Digimon, there are definitely a lot of concepts that are similar between the franchises, but overall they have a lot of different tones to them. Like, I feel that Digimon tends to be a lot more on the mature side at points, whereas Pokemon is still mostly a kids franchise that can be enjoyed by all ages. And it definitely feels that way for a lot of the Digimon games, how a lot of them will have a lot more of a mature rating to them, and a lot of the games will have swearing and all that. Whereas Pokemon, they obviously do not go that far. And it's also kind of cool that the Digimon, in the Digimon series, that the world that the show takes place in is the real world. Like, Pokemon is obviously based on our world somewhat. Areas like Kanto and Johto are obviously based on regions in the country of Japan and all that. And then you got other regions based on other world countries. But it's not explicitly our world. It's just very similar to ours. Whereas in Digimon, they obviously takes place, at least in the first few seasons, in Japan. And yep, that is a very fair opinion to have there, Lydia. Definitely a lot of people do feel that Digimon has the better anime, but Pokemon tends to have the better games. And from what I've heard, yeah, that definitely does seem that way. Like, even as someone who grew up with both franchises, I can state that they do have a lot of different qualities to them that are good for their own reasons. Alright, now this area, we got ourselves some holes that we gotta drop down in order to access different parts of the cave. So to move forward, we gotta move down. Ow, my ass! Yep, there's a lot we can see over here. We landed on a Carbos. Oh, imagine landing on a bottle of vitamins. That's gotta hurt. Yeah, that's definitely a good mentality to have. Like, if you spend your entire life thinking that one thing is trash and never changing your opinion on that, it's not a really good way to live, you know? I always try to see the good in whatever I am exposed to. Alright, now this is an area you want to be careful in if we want to grab this item in the first go. Want to move this rock here. Then we'll head down here in order to get onto this side. Again, they do make good use of the strength puzzles in this area. They kind of did the same back in the original generation, where you had to push boulders onto switches in order to progress. And there's also an area where you had to push rocks down a hole in order to change the flow of water in order to be able to progress in that area. They kind of did something like that in the Ice Cave in this game. But I don't know, there's something cool about needing to very carefully push the boulder so that it doesn't block off your path from getting to an elusive item. I know a lot of people aren't really a fan of these kind of puzzles, and yeah, I get that. Even I kind of get frustrated needing to lug around all these HM moves, but oh no, there is a nice little bit of pleasure that I always get from managing to find the solution to these problems. Got a dire hit. It's like a hit, only dire. And now that we got that, we can move that boulder aside and access this spot. Ooh, Gligar! Yeah, that's definitely it. It's fine to have puzzles as long as it doesn't obstruct the main battle mechanics, as I definitely feel that is something that RPGs definitely live and die with how well they're able to have things work both in combat and out of combat. And needing to spend one of your Pokemon's attack slots to be able to interact with a bush, or being able to cross water, not really all that great. Which is why I definitely like later games in the series for making it so that you do not need to learn HM moves. Alright, this room we want to be careful with the holes we approach, as dropping down the wrong hole will drop us off in an area that we had previously been to. Meanwhile, we can pick up a couple things around here. We could break some of the rocks here to see if we can get some more items that way, but I don't really need to. Like, I know you can get things like ethers by breaking rocks, which could be really good if you need some more of them. Heh, go figure. We found a max ether by examining that spot. But don't need to worry too much about that. Really, 3 rocks in a row. Do you think that was really necessary, Game Freak? But yeah, playing for a Pokemon game that has like 8 different HMs you need in order to access different parts of the game definitely makes me appreciate the more recent games for just completely doing away with the concept and just freely allowing you to get past these obstacles just from story progression. So I believe for this part I want to go down the top hole. Yeah, that drops us off here. It's allowing us to grab 2 things on this side of the ledge. Max Revive, that's useless to us. And an antidote. Slightly less useless. And then down here is nothing for us to see, so I want to head up. Yeah, we should be pretty close to the end here, which is definitely going to be nice for a few reasons. Yeah, I definitely know that a lot of people have their gripes with the newer Pokemon games for a lot of things, like usually in the quality department. But you gotta admit, not needing to teach your Pokemon cut in order to access like one thing is definitely a nice quality of life addition. Hey there, Torkoal. Sadly not a good opponent for Kenya here. So an aspect of this randomizer that I feel is definitely kind of on the S side is that because I have it set so that Pokemon abilities are randomized, that does mean certain gimmicks of Pokemon with their abilities don't get translated very well. Especially with the case of our Bronzong in our current party. Because in the vanilla games, Bronzong had a really cool factor to it where regardless of what ability it had, it always got rid of one of its weaknesses. If it has Levitate, that gets rid of its weakness to ground. And if it had Heat Proof, then its weakness to fire becomes a resistance. So yeah, it does kind of hurt that we don't have a good ability that's able to deal with that here. And also kind of bad that this Pokemon even got more weaknesses as generations went on and Steel lost 2 of its resistances with time. But in this generation at least, only having 2 weaknesses is still pretty good. Alright, Snorkel really took a beating from that Torkoal, so let's heal you up. Definitely don't underestimate some Pokemon just because they look doofy. These Pokemon like Torkoal are pretty strong, and if you're not prepared, they could just really do a lot of damage to you. Ooh, Cypher. You'd definitely be really cool to use in one of my eventual playthroughs. Maybe someday. Yeah, Kenya can handle this one. There's not much you've got that could really do a lot of damage. I got a lot of good experience with taking out that guy. And Future Sight. Oh, that is a real good move we can have. So this is a delayed attack, where 2 turns after we use this attack, that strikes the opponent. That could be really useful if I'm up against an opponent that I don't really see Kenya being useful against. But I do want to get some damage in while Kenya's on the field. That could be really good. It's the same power as Extrasensory, sadly. So there's not a whole lot's going to do with damage. I kind of want Iron Defense because just being able to set up against an opponent I know Kenya can handle would be nice. But at the same time, I don't exactly know what my opponents are going to have on their team, so that's kind of moot. And if I do want defense ups, I always have X defense. You know what, we'll get rid of Iron Defense. This could be useful to us. And we're getting a call from Arnie. What's this about? Oh, he's going to battle us. Cool. Definitely want to check out all these trainers who want to battle later. Also, how are we getting reception in the middle of this cave? I guess that's not something we can dwell on now. Alright, there's a hidden item over here. If we manage to maneuver around this hole. Oh, hey there, Bronzong. Just talking about you. Because I have one of you. Yeah, I should be able to handle you as Surf. Still pretty defensive, but nothing we gotta worry about. Yeah, you went for a useless Iron Defense as opposed to dealing damage, so you deserve everything I'm gonna give you. Perish. If we head behind this rock, we pick up a Hyper Potion. Okay, it's not anything fantastic, but it's nice to have an extra healing item. And want to drop down this hole to get us some elusive stuff down here. So we'll be heading up that ladder in a bit. We can go over here and grab TM for Flamethrower. Not bad. So if you're playing Vanilla, Heart Gold, and Soul Silver, that'd be the TM for Earthquake. Easily one of the strongest moves in the game. It's just so freaking fantastic. 100 base power can hit multiple Pokemon in double battles. It's very solid. A lot of Pokemon can learn it, not just ground types. But Flamethrower is also pretty good. It's a very solid attack that has a chance to burn. Excellent damage. It's able to be learned by a lot of different Pokemon. So definitely think about which one you want this move to have. And that should be the end of that. Alright, so now there's just one last thing we gotta do here before we can finally head off to the end of this cave. Hopefully we don't have to worry about you having any sand abilities, because I know these things do by default. There we go. It's actually been pretty nice that we've run into a lot of Pokemon that give decent experience yields down here. But yep, Squeaks, we need you to munch up a bunch of boulders here. And then, this is going to be the last task that Squeaks is going to do in the main story of our adventure. Don't you fucking taunt me. Let's hope we don't get another one out of these rocks. Is that just the game rubbing it in what we could have had? Oh no. Okay, different starter Pokemon. But still, that makes me upset. Oh, are you gonna do it? Yeah, you get rid of that sandstorm, you little bitch. Dottie, you can handle this one. Ooh, it does have ice, though. Yeah, that is a good point. We have encountered 2 out of the 3 middle stage Johto evolutions. Yeah, Solar Beam can easily finish you. Neither of these things have Drought because it does not work in your favor. Yeah. Okay, game, can we go free for free when it comes to finding starter Pokemon in these rocks? Nope. Alright, we pick up a TM4 Dig. I believe in Vanilla Heart Gold and Soul Silver, that is the TM for Dark Pulse. So yeah, don't know why they had to hide it behind 3 Rock Smash rocks, but it's there. Alright, level up on Snorkel. Definitely nice to see. This will save us a lot of time later when it comes to training up our team for what's to come. Come on, PokeLink, don't do this again. You're being a real butt about this. Alright, one more challenge ahead. Let's go. Hold it! Are you gonna challenge the Pokémon League? Victory Road is at its end for sure. But did you notice? You didn't see any real trainers on the way, did you? Man, they were all spineless. Well, the fact you've come this far means you're not one of them. But your journey ends here. Because right here, right now, I'll crush you! Okay, Cooler. So June here is the last trainer we're fighting on our journey before taking on the Pokemon League. He actually has a full team of 6 now, so we can actually expect a big fight here. Vigoroth, I'm not too worried about. So yeah, downside to our current team structure, we only really have 5 Pokemon that are going to be good in this fight. But we should be able to handle anything he throws at us. Sparkle's actually definitely could use a bit of healing after this. Depending on what gets sent out next. Alright, Vigoroth goes down. What else do we got? Next is Gabite. Yeah, I'm definitely going to say no to that. Yeah, Snorkel, you got this. I do have to be careful because Snorkel is pretty much our best bet against dragon types. But at the same time, Snorkel is weak to dragon attacks. So we gotta be careful about that. Ooh, yeah. Ouch. I'm pretty sure we outspeed Gabite. Let's do this. There we go. An Ice Beam should easily KO you because you're Ground Dragon. So yeah, definitely something we gotta worry about. I believe I have some dragon-resisting berries, so those can be nice to put on Snorkel before the next couple of battles. Ugh, that's a lot of damage on us. And next up is Hitmonchan. I don't really need to worry about damage on this thing here, so let's heal up. Yeah, Moo Moo Milk will be good for you. And then how about we give Kenya some action here? It's going to be your first real battle against a serious opponent, so why not? Also good because Kenya will actually resist the Sandstorm. Alright, the bell tolls for you, June. You are so many months away from now. Oh, that actually did a lot. Okay, that was a critical hit. I was a bit worried because Psychic and Steel does mean you'll take neutral damage from fighting. But we're good. We're all good. We're all friends here. No one else has to die before the Pokemon League. Ooh, you got Fire Punch. That's not going to be too bad. Stop getting critical hits! And you burn me. What, does this guy have super luck? Is that why he's been doing so much damage to us? Oh, that sucks. Let's heal this up. Man, I should just kept Snorkel in. Up, here comes the Tiger Uppercut. Come on, Kenya, hang in there. Alright, we're good. Alright, extra sensory, let's do this. Hang in there. Ooh, okay, we're good. It's fine, everyone's fine. This does mean I do need to watch out if we send Kenya out against fighting types in the future. Alright, next up is Combuskin. Go figure, it's a fighting fire type. Kenya, swap you for... Yeah, let's put Snorkel out again. This thing is setting up with Bulk Up, but I'm not expecting it to do too much to us. Let's go for Surf. That should easily finish you off. There we go. Alright, who's next? Dodrio. Is pretty strong, and it's Trace Sandstream, so go figure. Alright, guess that means we know these things have Trace now. Ice Beam should do some good damage here. Yep, just takes you out completely. I mean, I know Dodrio doesn't have great special defense, but still. And now for your final Pokemon, who I know what it's gonna be. Beedrill! He finally evolved his starter! I see. Seems it wasn't just luck that's gotten you this far. If we were gonna switch out to someone else, it'd probably be Kenya, but you're weak. So, let's go all out with Hydro Pump! Blast that bee! And there it goes. Thank you, Snorkel. That was quite a battle. I couldn't win. I gave it everything I had. What you possess and what I lack. I'm beginning to understand what that Dragon Tamer said to me. Ooh, character development. I haven't given up on becoming the greatest trainer. I'm gonna find out why I can't win and become stronger. When I do, I will challenge you. I'll beat you down with all my power. You keep at it until then. After all that, he finally gets it. And with all that, we are done here. Nothing else for us to do in Victory Road. All that's left is the Pokémon League. Someone dropped their medicine out here. At the Pokémon League, you'll get tested by the Elite Four. You have to beat them all. If you lose, you have to start all over. So, yep, welcome to the Victory Road. Welcome to the Pokémon League. This is our final stop on our journey. You can see there's a lot they're building up here. Just heal up at the last Pokemon Center we'll see on this part of our journey. And then there's a few people want to talk to here. Namely, if we stop by the shop, this is your last stop to get pretty much all of the good items you'll need going forward. Ultra Balls if you want to catch some strong Pokemon for what's to come. Max Repels if you feel the need to avoid any encounters. Hyper, Max Potions, and Full Restores for healing. Pretty much the best options for healing at this point. Revives if you're not playing a challenge run like me. Full Heals for dealing with statuses. All of this is really good for you. So definitely make use of what you have in these facilities. I'm going to go ahead and sell all of our items that we don't need, just to make sure we have enough for buying resources in the next couple of things we want to do. Alright, that's going to do it for selling items. And if we go up here, some trainers suddenly feel discouraged and leave. My Abra can take you home, but trainers just fly home lately. I feel left out. I'm sure my Abra feels the same way. So in the original Gold and Silver, because you cannot fly back to the Johto region once you get to the Pokemon League, there's an NPC here with an Abra who's able to teleport you back to New Barktown in case you want to do stuff back in the Johto region without having to backtrack all throughout the routes to the Pokemon League. However, in this generation, you don't have to worry about that. So he just kind of brings up how he's no longer useful to trainers here. Kind of sad, really. His entire reason for existence was removed because of the lack of technical limitations. Makes you wonder. Anyway, let's check on the last Pokemon we caught before this adventure's end. Got Hollyhock with Anger Point. Honestly, not too bad, although you'll obviously change to something else when you evolve. And Quilava with Sticky Hold. That's not very good, but that Nature Rash, I believe that's really good on you. Yeah, boosting your special attack. That is real good. Yep. Oh, Hollyhock's going to be a bit slower than what we usually expect from a Ponyta. That's kind of sad. Yep, those are the last catches before the end here. And what a crew that we have managed to assemble before the end. Squeaks, it was very great to get to know you on this journey. You really helped us out get through a lot of areas. Thank you for your services. So yep, my final team going into the Pokemon League is going to be this crew you see before you. Sparkles the Luxray, Dottie the Shiftry, Sahara the Hippowdon, Kenya the Bronzong, Snorkel the Kingdra, and Scarab the Heracross. Quite the party we have managed to assemble, and hopefully we'll all be here at the end of it. Thank you for watching. I got a lot of preparations to do for the Pokemon League, and I hope to make it a good finale next week. So I'll see you all back here for the finale of the first half of our SoulSilver Nuzlocke. Until next time, have a good day, and take care.